Hey everyone, it's Kylie at Games Unlimited, and today I want to introduce you to Marvel United. This is a cooperative Marvel-themed game from Cool Mini or Not, or CMON or CMON, whatever they call themselves these days. And it's designed by Eric Lang, one of the best designers in the industry out there. Now this is a super chibi, cutesy version of the Marvel Universe. So you've got these awesome, very anime-like chibi miniatures for all the characters. You've got the associated art style. Just a ton of character to all the cards in this game, but it is the Marvel characters that you know and love. And this is cooperative. So each player is going to pick a Marvel hero. The game comes with 7 of them. And you're going to choose a bad guy, a villain to fight. Game comes with 3 villains. So in this case, we've got Red Skull trashing the city, trying to create enough fear. Now each villain has a different way that they win the game. Generally speaking, for the heroes to win, they have to not lose by whatever way the villain does it, and knock the villain out, punch the villain enough times. They have a certain amount of hit points here that you need to attack them with. Before you can attack the villain, though, you have to achieve 2 of these 3 goals. So rescuing civilians. Your heroes will move around the board, and they can rescue civilians, putting them up here. You fill that card up, it goes away. Once you've completed 2 of these 3, you can actually start attacking the villain. The gameplay is incredibly simple and incredibly streamlined. First, the villain's going to take a turn. You draw a card from the top of the villain deck. In this case, Red Skull's going to move 1 space clockwise. Boop. And then he's going to put out some more thugs. So he's going to put 2 thugs on his location, a thug to the left, a thug to the right. Now, sort of pandemic style, if there isn't a space for these, there's going to be an overflow, and each villain handles overflow differently. In Red Skull's case, since he's trying to get the fear level up to 20, for every token you can't place, fear level goes up 1. If he gets to 20, Red Skull wins. Now, some of the villain cards include BAM actions. So if he got this card, he would move 2, do a BAM action. It's listed here what his BAM action is. He's going to do 1 damage to each hero on his space and improve the fear by 2. Also, the bad guys, the henchmen on the board, might have BAM actions. Those would trigger as well. So you have to be paying attention to where your heroes are going to be. You might not want to end your turn where a henchman is, just in case a BAM action happens and does damage. So you flip a card, and you put it over here in what's called the storyline. So this is the first card in the storyline. Now, the first hero is going to take their turn. You'll start with 3 cards, you draw a card, and these cards have actions on the bottom of them. So this card is going to let me move and do an attack action. I can do them in either order. So I would play this to the storyline. Iron Man is over here. He can use the attack action, maybe to punch one of these thugs, get him out of the way, and then move 1 space and say he goes over there. That's it for his turn. But where the game gets interesting and the co-op really comes in is the next player. Let's say Black Widow's next. She's got her hand of cards. She's going to play, in this case, let's say she's sitting over here. She plays this. This is heroic action. Heroic actions can be used to rescue the civilians or to fill up these spots. If you can completely fill up all 3 heroic actions on this card, it goes away, gives you a special ability for being at this location. But Black Widow is going to be able to do the 2 heroic actions that she played, plus whatever actions were on the card previous to her in the storyline. So she actually gets 1 move, 1 attack, and 2 heroic actions. So maybe she's going to move over here, use a couple heroic actions to rescue these civilians, and then she can't punch Red Skull because we don't have the things down, but maybe we'll do 1 damage to Crossbones. So we get rid of that. If we can get rid of all of Crossbones' damage, he'll come off the board. He's no longer hurting us, and we'll also open up a special ability for that location. Next player goes. If it were a 2-player game, it would actually be Iron Man's turn again. Play a card. Iron Man would get to take 3 heroic actions. So you get to do the things from the hero card immediately preceding you. Some of the characters, or each character, also has some special abilities on their cards. So like Black Widow can interrogate. She can look at the top card of the villain deck so that you know what's coming and even decide to put it on the bottom of the deck. That doesn't get copied, of course. If Black Widow plays the interrogate, Iron Man's next action only gets to do that bottom thing in addition to what he does. So there's a little bit of sort of, you want to do the thing that you need to do, but you're also trying to set up the next person in turn order. After 3 hero turns, the villain gets to take another turn. Then 3 more hero turns. So if you were playing a 2-player game, it would be villain, Iron Man, Black Widow, Iron Man, villain, Black Widow, Iron Man, Black Widow, and so on. But the game plays up to 4. So the way that hero actions are divvied up between villain turns changes depending on the number of players. Plus, once you've completed one of these cards, the villain's actually going to start activating after every 2 turns. So each villain plays differently. I showed you Red Skull here, who's trying to put fear on the board. I believe that Ultron, I haven't played as him yet, but he's kind of got more of a pandemic type feel. As he overflows things, he puts more and more thugs on the board, and he's trying to completely fill up all the slots on the game. I have this set up just with 4 locations. The game actually uses 6 locations, but I wanted you to get a chance to see all the heroes. You have Ant-Man, Wasp, Hulk. You've got 3 different villains, Red Skull, Taskmaster, and Ultron. And the basic rules are the same, but how the villain does things, and the villains have their own cards that'll go out here as well, that's what's going to change the nature of the game. Plus, of course, your hero. No other hero has this interrogate action that Black Widow has. I found that very useful in our games last night. But if no one's playing Black Widow, you're going to have to be going blind the whole time. Now, let's talk a little bit about how this is distributed. So this was a Kickstarter campaign, and they wanted to get the core game out because it was a partnership with Spin Master into mass market stores. You could actually go out right now, pick up a copy of this at a mass market store. It's only about $35. And you get basically what's here. I think one of the heroes might be different. We're selling this for $70. That seems steep for something you can get half the price somewhere else. But what you're getting for that is all of the Kickstarter stretch goals that haven't been delivered yet. So they wanted to get this out on store shelves before holidays. Next March is when all the stretch goals are going to come in. So if you pick up a copy of this from us, we will give you a call next March when the stretch goals come in, and you'll get all of that stuff for free. That's all included in the $7 price tag. I mentioned that there are 3 villains. I believe there are 14 or 15 more villains coming with the stretch goals. This comes with 7 heroes, and there are about 33 more heroes in the stretch goals. So we're talking about the mini plus the cards that go with it. So much of the Marvel Universe is represented in this game at this point in time. There's add-ons, there's expansions, like there's a whole Wakanda expansion. So, Black Panther's not going to be one of the heroes in the stretch goals because he's one of the heroes in the Wakanda expansion. There's an Asgard expansion, there's a Spider-Verse expansion. So there's all sorts of other things that you can purchase as additional expansions when those come in March. But anyone who picks this up will get all of those stretch goals, most of which are Kickstarter exclusives, as part of this package. You're just not going to get them till next March. So that's how this is working. Don't hesitate to contact us if you have questions about how this is going. It's a really cool game. I loved how fast it moved. I mean, we were probably a 20-30 minute game, but it's a sort of game that each villain's going to change the way it's played and give you a whole different feel. So that is Marvel United. I'm Kylie at Games Unlimited, and as always, go play some games.